What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and here we are with another character breakdown. And as you can see in the background, it's for that boy, Raccoon, man. So let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Raccoon, who is a strategist who has the role of a healer / buffer with a base health of 250 and a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Raccoon is a strategist hero with a good health pool who benefits the team with heals, buffs, and most importantly, revives. He is a really easy hero to play, but he is by no means weak. His normal attack deals ridiculous amounts of damage, on par with some DPS heroes. His RMB, on the other hand, is a decent heal, which you can use at any time and keep allies healthy. Unlike some of the other strategists in the game, Raccoon focuses mostly on buffering allies by increasing their damage and reviving them. His BRB skill, for example, sends out a beacon that can revive allies who have been killed within its range. This skill can be a game changer for some fights, however the beacon can be destroyed, so be careful when placing it. In addition to the revive ability, the beacon can also generate armor and jetpacks, making it a good tool to have in team fights or drawn out skirmishes. Raccoon's ultimate also summons a beacon. This beacon, however, does not revive, but rather boosts the damage of allies within its range by 40%. Combine this with the revive ability of the BRB beacon and the healing and damage of Raccoon, and you have a ridiculously powerful teammate. What's best is that Raccoon also has a good deal of survivability thanks to his jetpack dash that lets him cover a significant amount of distance and also has 2 charges. While he may be easy to play, Raccoon is a support you should keep on your radar, man. Now, what's kind of crazy is I'm pretty sure most players in the community have a love-hate relationship with this character specifically. And the reason why is because a lot of times most players that pick him up pretty much only provide you with heals, but provide you pretty much 0 damage. Which is a little bit weird because after playing with him and going and testing him out, he actually does put out pretty good damage. So it's kind of weird that most of the time when you see a Rocket, all he's ever doing is healing. He's never putting out any damage. But we also know there is somebody out there in the community who did make Grandmaster with this character without putting out any damage. So we do know it is true. But ultimately, to me, Rocket's one of those people where you need someone really good and understanding of who he is to really take full advantage of the character. There are things that do actually work out fairly well for him. But with that being said, we got to go ahead and get into his main ability, man. And that's going to be called Bombard Mode. And with this, you fire energy projectiles that deal damage. This is a rapid fire delayed projectile. The damage is 16 damage per round. The projectile speed is 150 meters a second. The damage fall off. The fall off begins at 10 meters, decreasing to 40% at 20 meters. The fire rate is 12.05 rounds per second. The ammo count is 45. And there is a critical hit on this, man. Now, as you can see, when you use his main attack here, it's basically like a little mini machine gun, and it does relatively good damage, as it has about 40. It has the 45 bullet ammo count, and when you go up against your basic 250 to 275 heroes, it'll only take about half of this clip to actually kill them, and that's when you're within, the close distance there. So it only doesn't take very much to actually kill the squishies. Now, you do get a headshot, and if you do get continuous headshots, it'll only take about 10 headshots to kill. So either half a clip to the body or 10 shots to the head in order to kill. So with this right here, it's really not that bad. Like, honestly, I really thought that it would have been a lot worse because, again, like I said earlier, most of the time when I see Rockets on the team, they're not really putting out too much damage. So I figured it had to do with the fact that his primary attack is so weak. But his primary attack is more similar to Jeff, where he has 2 alternate fires on it. So maybe it's just more along the lines of people just focusing more on doing healing, because most of the time strategists are in the back line. So again, he's probably too far off to really do too much damage with this main attack here. Now, speaking of his alternate fire, we're going to go on to his second ability here, which is called Repair Mode. And with this, you shoot bouncing spears to heal allies. This is a single cast projectile with delayed impact that also generates a spell field. The healing amount for your ally is 70 a second. The healing amount for yourself is 30 a second. The projectile speed is 60 meters a second. The range is a 5 meter spherical radius. The fire rate is 2 rounds per second. The ammo count is 8. The duration is 5 seconds. The special effect is bouncing spheres will bounce off surfaces upon contact with a maximum of 10 bounces. When they approach injured allies, their speed will reduce. Projectile speed reduction is 4.5 meters a second, man. Now, as you can see, when you shoot this out here, you will shoot out healing orbs, and they will heal your allies. This is going to be your main healing ability right here, as it is the only ability that actually provides healing from him. So this will be the way that you actually go out and heal your teammates. Now, how good is this as far as healing goes? If he's the only healer, I'm not really sure how effective this is, as when I was playing him, I got lucky to always at least have one other healer on the team. But when I was using this, I just kind of felt like I was more shooting the healing orbs into the fight and hoping for the best. Now, again, someone of better skill level with Rocket, or who probably spends more time with them, would be better with these healing orbs. But I found that the best strategy with them is when you see that big group fight, just keep throwing them healing orbs into the fight, as your teammates should run into them without actually trying to, if you get what I'm saying, because they're just be in the general area. And as long as you're shooting them at your teammates, you should relatively give them a good health pool right there, man. So this is actually a pretty decent ability, but again, it is dependent on you being able to throw the orb near your teammate, and your teammates also being aware and looking for the orbs themselves. So again, this is a decent healing ability. Is it the best? Not really sure about it being the best, but it's all right. Now, let's get into his actual abilities here, which is some passives we need to go over. And the first one's going to be called Flying Ace. And with this, you just hold the button to fall slowly. And with this, the descending speed is going to be 3.5 meters a second, man. Now, as you can see with this passive ability here, whenever you fall off a high surface, you will just descend slowly. It's just an ability here. I'm not really sure what the purpose of these are, but again, it's cool. He has a jetpack, so when you jump off a high surface, you can go ahead and hit this, and he will descend slower than normal, which will actually allow you to get from one side to the other if you're trying to jump from platform to platform. But other than that, I really don't see too much use in this. Now, the other passive he has is very, very useful, which is going to be called Wild Crawl. And with this, you hold the button to run on the wall. The wall crawling speed is going to be 10 meters a second, man. Now, as you can see, when you use this ability here, you can crawl all over the wall. You probably even crawl better than Spider-Man and Venom themselves, as you have incredible movement speed. You can pretty much climb on any surface that you see, and it's just amazing. And I have seen some plays with really, really good Rocket players where they are just damn near unkillable, as it is hard as hell to hit this man as he's running around walls, jumping up, and moving around very quickly. So if you master this wild crawl, you will be just hard to hit, and you'll just be a menace to your enemies, man. Now, let's get into his first actual ability here, which is called the BRB. And with this, you deploy a battle rebirth beacon that revives a fallen ally and periodically produces armor packs and rocket jetpacks. This is a summons casting. The special effect is it generates an item every 3 seconds, including armor pack and rocket boots. Maximum revive distance will be 50 meters. The bonus health from the armor packs is 25. The duration is for 300 seconds. The cooldown is 45 seconds, and you can reclaim the beacon by pressing the button. When reclaimed, the cooldown will be reduced based on the beacon's remaining health. If you reclaim a full health beacon, the minimum cooldown will be 5 seconds, man. Now, as you can see here, this is going to be the main ability that gives you the most value for Rocket. And this right here, as you see when you pop it up, you will create a beacon that will respawn your teammates. You want to make sure you're within range, as if you're too far out, it will not respawn the teammate. It's not one of those beacons where as long as it's on the map, you will respawn them. So you want to make sure that when you see that big team fight going on, you put the station down somewhere near, but make sure it's also behind cover, not in the open, as you don't want your teammates coming right back and dying instantly. Now, the other thing that I want to point out with this BRB is when you place it, you will see little token things coming out. You'll see a yellow one and a blue one. The yellow one will give you the armor pack, which allows you to get 25 bonus health. And the yellow one allows you to get a super jump, which allows you to jump up very high. So for a lot of players in the game that don't have mobility, this super jump is very useful. Now, a high level skill that I saw with him is when the game first comes in, that you set this beacon inside the point where your team is sitting. This way they can go ahead and grab that 25% boost on their health and then go ahead and get the super jump before they even leave out of the initial point. Now, this BRB here is very, very good. As long as you are placing it in the right place, within range, and making sure your teammates aren't just respawning out in the open, this can be very, very dangerous. As being able to have your teammates basically come back instantly, especially depending on who they are, can definitely turn the tides of a fight, man. So just make sure when you're using this that you are within range and you're making sure that your teammates aren't just out in the open when they come back, man. Now, the next ability we got to talk about is going to be called the Jetpack Dash, and with this, you dash forward. This is a dash casting. The dash direction will be in the crosshair direction. The dash distance will be 10 meters. The cooldown is 2 charges, with each charge taking 6 seconds to recharge, man. And as you can see with this right here, this is going to be your other movement ability outside of the wild crawl, where when you pop it, you will boost forward with your jetpack. Now, this ability here is very, very good for getting away from enemies that try to dive you. It's also very good for getting up to higher places, as you can jump and then use this dash to go ahead and get up there. And again, it's just a really, really good movement tool, man. Now, so far, out of all the movement tools that I have come across in the game doing these guides, this is one of the better ones, as it's quick, simple, to the point, and it has a good distance. So 10 meters is a very good distance, as I think you have to be at least 11 meters to get out of Venom's little tentacles. So basically this here will go ahead and guarantee you getting out of that. So again, with mixing up his jetpack dash and his wild crawl, Rocket is very, very hard to nail down and pin down in order for you to kill him. So just make sure if you're playing Rocket, you are taking advantage of the jetpack dash and your wild crawl as much as possible. The more you're moving, the harder of a target you will be to hit, man. Now, this right here, the next ability we're going to talk about is going to be his ultimate, and that's going to be called See Ya. And with this, you deploy a Cosmic Yarn Amplifier that grants allies a damage boost. This is a targeted ability that, when activated, summons a creature and detects allies within the area. The damage boost given is going to be 40%. The range is a 20-meter radius. The duration will be for 12 seconds. The summon's health is 800. And the energy cost will be 3,700, man. Now, again, as you can see this here, when you pop this up, you will spawn another beacon similar to your BRB, but different. And what will happen here is you will see beams connecting to all allies within the 20 meters, showing that currently those allies are getting a 40% damage boost, man. Now, I'm going to say this. For an alt, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the weakest in the game, as when you pop this, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're getting 40% damage. Like, it doesn't really feel like when you're in the fight and you pop this that you significantly notice that your teammates are murdering the other team, because you think about it's almost a 50% increase. You would think that it'd be very obvious you taking out the other team. But for some reason, even when going up against it and using it, it doesn't seem as though the boost is that important. So again, I really think that they kind of messed up Rocket with this ult, because this is kind of trash. Also, for him being a healer and the fact that his ult doesn't heal over time is kind of crazy. I feel like they could probably lower the damage boost a little bit and give it somewhat of a healing over time instead. But we'll see how they decide to go with this, because me personally, I just don't really rock with this ult like that. I've never really noticed it be that big of a difference maker. So maybe I'm just tripping. But again, any Rocket Raccoons made down in the comments, let us know exactly how that ult is in the overall, man. Just let us know down in the comments. Now, the last few things we need to get into are going to be his team ups, and one of them is going to be called Old Friends. And with this, Jeff the Land Shark and Rocket Raccoon can ride on Groot's shoulders, receiving a damage reduction. This is a targeted cast. The range is up to 12 meters. The special effect is by pressing the button will exit the team up status with Groot, and the damage reduction is 0.35. Now, as you can see, when you pop this here, you will hop on top of Groot's shoulder, and you will be able to do both your primary attack and your healing orbs, as well as getting a damage reduction for both you and Groot, man. Now, as far as team ups go, this team up here is probably mid. It's not bad, but it also is not the best. It's okay. It does give good damage reduction to both Rocket and Groot while he is riding his shoulders. But one thing about riding the shoulders of Groot is you kind of become a main healer for the Groot specifically, because as the Groot's running around, you might not be able to just easily heal your teammates the way you would if you were more in the back line or more moving around on your own. So again, this is a good team up to have, but it's pretty mid in my opinion, as it somewhat takes you away from being an overall team healer, since you'll be moving specifically with the Groot, and since you will be seeing the Groot more often than not, more often your heals will go directly to that Groot, man. So again, it is a mid team up, but it's not bad to have. Now, his other team up we need to talk about is going to be called Ammo Invention. And with this, Raccoon throws down an ammo overload device in the target direction. Upon entering the device's range, the Punisher and Winter Soldier receive the buffs of infinite ammo and faster firing. This is a summons casting. The range is a 10-meter spherical radius. The duration is 12 seconds. The cooldown is 40 seconds. And the team up bonus for Rocket is a 5% healing boost, man. Now, as you can see, when you pop this here, you will throw down another device similar to your BRB and Sia, that when you pop it down, you will see a little circle radius come up. And as long as the Punisher or Winter Soldier are inside, they will receive the unlimited ammo and increased firing. Now, this right here is probably the better of the two team-ups, and this team-up is higher in the tier list, I would believe. Like, if the other one's mid, this was probably like A tier. Not really, I mean B tier, as the other one's probably C tier. So this is probably B tier team up, as it does require you to have these two characters more often than not. And again, you have to have Rocket, who himself doesn't actually get the unlimited ammo or the faster firing, which is kind of crazy. But hey, it is what it is. Now, ultimately, again, this is a really good team up if you have a good Punisher player and a really good Winter Soldier player. If you have one of those players, having this team up for him will definitely benefit you, as he'll probably definitely take full advantage of this. So again, pay attention. If you're playing Rocket, pay attention to your teammates are, as if you see a Winter Soldier or a Punisher, you just might want to go ahead and play Rocket, man. But ultimately, we all know that Rocket has a love-hate relationship with the overall community, as most players pretty much just put out heals with him and no types of damage at all. But it's kind of crazy because he is able to actually put out a good decent amount of damage. Now, outside of that, he does have the revives, which is very clutch. Just make sure you're putting your revive station within range and in a safe space. Also, make sure that you are doing your best to heal your teammates and put out damage if you're playing Rocket. Okay, we don't need just heals, as most strategists in the game are able to do both very easily. Now, his ultimate is very underwhelming. So if you are picking a strategist for like heals, I don't know if this would be the best option for you, as for me, Rocket is less of a true healer and more of a team buffer than anything else. But we'll see how we go and see if they plan on changing anything with them. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoyETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.